Hi guys. For whatever goofy reason, my Zoom recording didn't save. So I'm going to do a quick overview for you of the slides from yesterday. So we went over a lot of things. The first is, what is synthesis? So you should have completed a Google form called What is Synthesis, What It Is and What It Ain't. If you did not, I'll show you where it is. So you're going to go to Modules. Boop, boop, boop. Is it in day 6? Yeah, it's in day 6. So under day 6, synthesis homework. And you're going to review this information. You're going to watch this video. You'll answer the questions that follow. Then after that, I'm just going to... These aren't the right answers, obviously. And then you'll go to this link and you'll answer the questions here. And then you'll hit submit when you're done. Okay. Synthesis is when two or more sources combine in a meaningful way to back up an author's own point and to create a new original thought. So, for example, cooked carrots may be good for your eyes, but they taste disgusting. I will eat raw carrots at any day of the week, but present me with cooked carrots and I will rage. Matthew Zmuda, 2022, food scientist, says the cooking of carrots creates a terrible mushiness that makes them absolutely dissatisfying and appalling. Blah, blah, explanation, blah. Natalie Nault, 2021, a nutritionist at Virtua Hospital, goes further to say cooked carrots not only lose their delicious bite and bold sweetness, but lack the wonderful nutritional value of raw carrots. It's just downright criminal. So essentially what synthesis does is it takes two different sources that either talk about the same topic. Well, okay, yeah, they talk about the same topic, but they could agree or disagree, or they could expand on an idea. So in this case, I present Matthew Zmuda. I present his quote, and then I add this other quote and say that she goes further. That's where the meaningful connection comes in. So a meaningful relationship means that you add one of these kinds of words in order to show a relationship between the two sources. So agrees, disagrees, or clarifies would be an example of that. What synthesis is not. So what a lot of you might be used to doing is taking a couple of quotes and just kind of putting them in there and not making a connection between them. So for like a research paper, say that you've done, you'd be talking about, I don't know, gay marriage, just because that's what I used to write all my research papers on before gay marriage was legalized. So say that's what you're talking about, right? You have 3 or 4 different sources, and you decide that you're going to include one of those sources in like each paragraph. Instead of actually doing anything with them by making a connection between them, saying that, okay, this person says this and this person agrees or disagrees, you would just kind of put it in there. That's not synthesis at that point. So putting just 2 quotes from 2 different sources in a paragraph with no connection between them makes it not synthesis. You get very close. You can see that there could be a connection, but you don't actually make a connection between them. You just say that these 2 people said these things. Synthesis is also not using 2 quotes from the same source. So for example, Jake Robinson, a sushi chef in Philadelphia, would say that cooked carrots are tasty and delicious. He is definitely crazy, but he continues this thought by saying, how would you have a tasty stew or soup without carrots? These ideas are already connected in the essay. You can't create anything new. And since that's a big part of what synthesis is, it can't be synthesis. So that also includes, like, if you were to use Campo Amor and say, Dr. Stoicheva said this, and then the other person who talks in it, whose name I don't remember, the other psychologist says this, you're not creating anything new because Campo Amor already did. Campo Amor already made a connection between them. She already synthesized it for you. So the idea is that it has to come from 2 different sources. can't be the same source and can't be two different sources within the same source, if that makes sense. It also is not using one of the synthesis words, but not actually synthesizing the sources. So this is a common issue where I see people say that somebody agrees with them, the author. So if I were to have that first sentence where I say carrots are disgusting, and then followed it up with Rocco Galelli, a sous chef in New York City, agrees when he says carrots in their cooked state represent nothing but failed potential. Okay, that's fine, but he agrees with me. And while I'm part of this conversation, I'm not showing a connection between this source and another source. So that's not synthesis either. Synthesis doesn't include me as the author. False relationships between sources or quotes that don't match up. So something else you have to keep in mind is having quotes that make sense together. Damian Paisley, a root vegetable connoisseur, offers parsnips are a great alternative to carrots. They provide the same flavor as carrots, but with more of a zing. Kate Bradley agrees with Paisley, so we do have a connection, right? But saying parsnips are crunchy and delicious. So they do seem similar, right? They seem like they could maybe connect, but that's pretty forced. This is just talking about what parsnips taste like. This is talking about parsnips being a good alternative to carrots. This second quote doesn't support the first one. So something you need to keep in mind, and a good way of doing this is by, when you gather your sources, putting these quotes next to each other and saying, okay, does this make sense together? Do these have a connection? Just by me looking at them. Are they talking about the same things, or are they talking about two completely different things? Okay, so then I had practice happen. You do not have to do this, but it is a good thing to kind of look over. So on this worksheet, it has different examples of not synthesis. So your goal is to read these and then decide which of these what it ain'ts it is. And then you kind of put that in there and then explain what you need to do to fix it. If you want to do this, you can. I would strongly suggest that you do it, and then you can send it to me and ask me for help if you want, but it's not necessarily necessary. The next step that we took was going over the why are people nostalgic for Britney Spears. So let me pull that up. This is the Britney essay from last week that I had everyone annotate. So we're going to go to Britney essay. All right. So my suggestion to you is to read this. So you're going to read the Britney essay. This is an example of what your lens essay can look like. This is my introduction, and my purpose statement is going to be down here at the bottom. So in a time when lanternflies and murder hornets swarm the skies, COVID-19 keeps families apart and conflict seems to arise at every corner. Listening to Britney's vibrant, youthful dance music or slow pop ballads provides comfort and safety for many people. So this is pretty much my purpose statement, right? I'm trying to explain why Britney Spears is makes people feel nostalgic, or why people continue to listen to her old music. Millennials specifically, like people who grew up with her. So then I go into explaining that, and there's synthesis within this essay. So I start by explaining, I describe who Danielle Campoamor is, and then I say in her New York Times article, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I introduce her in one paragraph. Then in the next body paragraph, I do Stephanie Coontz. One of my favorite things to do is to provide two people with counter ideas. I think the disagreement makes for a more interesting essay and also makes you have to think about the best way to put these together. So then I include her information, and this is how I synthesize right here. In her New York Times op-ed, she disagrees with Campoamor by saying that blah, 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 blah. So the challenge with this essay is going to be that you're going to put in two authors in two separate paragraphs. So in order to make the synthesis happen, you're also going to have to include the other author's name within it, within the lead into the quote. So this is why I did "she disagrees with Campo Amor," because then I make it specific that there is a connection between what was said in the previous paragraph and in this paragraph. And then you continue on. Again, I would suggest that you read the whole thing, give yourself the time to really look over it, because it will help you immensely. I wrote this specifically so that way you know what it should pretty much look like. All right. And then I'm going to describe for you what a purpose statement looks like. So instead of doing a thesis statement, which is normally argumentative in nature, and I feel like that's kind of what's been drilled in your head, you're going to write a purpose statement. So something that answers the question that you're responding to. The easiest way to do this is to respond to the question, why are people nostalgic for blank? Or why does blank make people nostalgic? It's also a good idea to consider who your audience is going to be for this. So not everyone's going to feel nostalgic for 80s fashion because we didn't experience it. You and I did not grow up in the 80s, so we're not going to feel nostalgic for 80s fashion. So then I made this more specific, right? Why are people who grew up in the 80s nostalgic for 80s fashion? For Britney Spears, it would be, why did people who grew up in the 90s feel nostalgic for Britney Spears' music and music videos? And then your purpose statement ends up being the answer to this question. So, why are people who grew up in the 80s nostalgic for 80s fashion? People who grew up in the 80s are nostalgic for 80s fashion because it's an easy way to start, right? You reflect the question that you're asking. It makes them feel youthful and reminds them of a time they had less responsibilities. Boom. Purpose statement. Remember that this can be more general, right? It can be a little more open-ended because you're going to get more specific in the essay. I then had everyone give it a shot. So write your purpose statement, and we shared some, which was very nice. And if you feel like you need help with this, let me know. Send me your purpose statement in an email, and I'll let you know if it's good. Works out for me. All right, so peer review day is next Tuesday, the 15th. So the idea is that you come to class with a completed rough draft. I'd suggest submitting your rough draft to Canvas before class. That way it'll be easier for me to kind of like make groups and also to just like see your essays, and I can like look over them as you're doing things. You get a grade both for coming to class and bringing a rough draft on peer review day. If you don't come to class, you can get a makeup grade by going to the writing center on your own time and bringing proof that you went. You'll be partnered up with someone and you'll be sharing your rough drafts, and you'll be giving and receiving feedback. So then, for Thursday, you can use that feedback and revise your essay and then submit it to me. If you want feedback from me, submit your rough draft to Canvas and then put like, please like send me feedback, and then I'll look over it too. If you come to class but don't bring a rough draft, you have to tell me. I'm not going to give you a partner if you didn't do the rough draft. That doesn't help them. And I'd rather them be with a partner or with a couple of partners that will help them. It's just not fair. So you're going to come to class if you don't have a rough draft, and you'll just sit in class and draft. And I'll work with you, but you have to be honest with me. You can't lie to me. And then we'll go from there. Essentially what I'm going to do is if I see a rough draft is submitted on Canvas, then I'll kind of make the groups from there. Okay, and then there was time for outline. There's an outline on, see, look at me in Classroom. I'm so stuck on Google Classroom. We have an outline on Canvas. So if you want to use that outline, that's fine. I'm going to email everyone and just remind them that it's there. If you feel better about just going for it, just use the outline as a general guideline. Use my Britney Spears essay as a general idea of what you need to do, and just start drafting. So then this is homework. So complete all revisions and edits made to the parts of the CEA. put them in your folder and submit the assignments on Canvas to me. That's due Friday at 11:59. If you need more time, just let me know. So you need to have all 5 summaries, your CEA chart, and your dialogic all nice and revised and looking pretty in that folder by 11:59. On Tuesday, you need to have a rough draft of your lens essay ready to rock. Let me show you how to do the folder thing. So if I go to my CC1 folder, this is what my CC1 folder looks like right now. I have classwork, essays, and portfolio. You can set it up however you want in terms of like this kind of organization. I need to be able to navigate to a CEA1 folder. So if you want to put a CEA1 folder right here, that's fine. But this is how I have mine set up. So I go into essays, and then if I'm going to create a CEA1 folder, I either right click and click new folder, or you can hit new folder and then title it CEA1, and then everything should be in here. So let's like pretend this is going to be food summary. And then this is going to be, oh, sorry, it should also be your last name. So it should be titled like this. McNamara summary. It look like. And then we'll also do Szyczerski dialogic. Okay, so then this is it. This is all that should be in the folder. So the CEA1 should be in there. The part 1, CEA1 part 1 should be in there. The chart, all 5 summaries, and the dialogic, and that's it. And then when you go to share it with me, you can click on the name of your folder, get link, that'll pop up, copy link, and then you'll go to the Canvas assignment and you'll submit it through there, which I can show you too. So we're going to go to assignments, we're going to go to student view, and then we're going to go to completed CEA1. Click. Start assignment. Weird that it's text entry, but okay. Bam! Submit. And that's it. So you're going to just copy and paste the link there. Follow these directions before you do things. There's general summary notes here. So this is like most common things. So just make sure you go through this checklist and look at things. I'll make comments on things and stuff too for you guys. But otherwise, that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. But that's all she heckin' wrote. So